So before we start, I'll just remind you that this is a class setup that I use and it isn't for everybody. So if you play a different way than I play, then you'll want something completely different than me. So I do some things that most people probably don't, so you're welcome to change whatever you want. But I'm going to show you what I do, and if it works for you, great. If not, that's fine too. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at my class. First off, as you can see, I use the Ravager. This is probably the one thing that is going to be the same for everybody, assuming you actually have this variant. It's far and away the best in NA-45, and if you don't have it, the next best is actually going to be an enlisted variant called the HE. Damage is everything on this weapon, so avoid anything that's going to be minus damage, like the Screamin' or whatever the other professional one is, the Rover. So Ravager is going to be the best, and if you have to, just use the stock NA-45. That'll be better than the Screamin' would. As for attachments, as you can see, the only thing I use is variable zoom. I don't like the original scope on there. I feel it zooms in a little bit too much, plus it's a little bit off center, as everyone has probably mentioned before. I don't like the ACOG that much. It's okay for close quarters, but for longer range shots, the variable zoom is a lot better. So for the way that I play, variable is probably the best, and you can pick the one that you like the best, and that's perfectly fine. As for other things like stock and tracker, tracker was kind of neat, but stock was pretty much worthless. You're going to get your shots off really fast, so there's no real need to aim down the sights for too long, so you're not going to be strafing or anything like that. So for the most part, just pick the sight you want and no other attachment is necessary. Now, as you've probably noticed, I go very, very heavy on the perks. So most people don't have nearly this many perks, but for me, ever since like Modern Warfare 3 with the specialist thing, I haven't really enjoyed kill streaks that much. I found them to be boring and kind of cheesy, so I like to stock up on as many perks as possible and just kind of focus on the actual gunplay rather than sitting there in a little Warbird or Paladin and just raining death on people. So for perks, I use Danger Close, which should be self-explanatory. More damage on the explosions, and as you can see, I use the aerial assault drone. It's AI controlled, so I just launch it and forget it, but it does make that thing do a lot more damage. Low profile is one of the best perks, so I keep that on there. A little bit of stealth is always a nice thing. You're going to be reloading a lot, so if you can get the jump on somebody, that's great. Blind Eye, again, a little bit of stealth. I don't like getting killed by enemy score streaks, so that helps with that as well. Fast hands is going to be a must. So like I said before, you reload all the time. So being able to reload on the run is going to save your life more times than you can imagine. Scavenger, well, you don't really get much ammo to start off with this gun. So, if you don't like Scavenger, you don't need it. But I would always run out of ammo, so I needed Scavenger. And Blast Suppressor, everyone should have that. It's a must. As you can also see, I don't use a secondary weapon. So if you prefer a secondary, then you can drop one of these perks or something else like the Semtex. But the secondary weapon for me, I thought it just gets in the way. I'd rather just jump and dodge and try and get another shot off on them. There's one or two situations in every game where maybe a secondary would save you, but ultimately having an extra perk or something will get you more kills in the long run. So again, it's personal preference, but for me, I don't really care about the secondary that much, and if you're really worried about it, you can pick up a gun off of the first person you kill. So secondary, not that needed for me. I also don't use any exo ability whatsoever. I'm usually the kind of person that will pop their overclock right at the start of the match to get back in the action or something like that, or forget that I have cloak on, so I just didn't equip one at all, and then I put that point elsewhere. Semtex, again, you can use whatever grenade you like, but when you have Danger Close on, some sort of lethal grenade is pretty useful, but not necessary. So pick the one you want, or none at all, and that's entirely up to you. And between this video and the tips video, you should be well on your way to using the NA-45 effectively. If you're doing it right, people in the game will complain, and you'll be called every name in the book, noobtuber and all that stuff, so it's fun. And what's the point in playing if some 12-year-old kid hasn't fucked your mom a dozen times, right? It's kind of funny. I started using this gun as a joke, essentially. I heard it was bad, and I kind of like a challenge, so I figured, hey, why not? I'll give it a shot. But it actually ended up being pretty fun, so I stuck with it, and now it's the only gun that I use. So I don't really snipe in Call of Duty, so I was worried at first, but it's not really a sniper rifle, which is good. The only game I actually sniped in was Titanfall, and I was pretty okay with the Kraber, but sniping's not really my thing. So anyways, that should wrap things up. If you have any questions, just feel free to leave a comment, and I'll check it eventually. I think this is the part where I'm supposed to say make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel and all that, but I don't really care about any of that, so feel free to skip that. And if you liked the video, great. If not, I'm sorry.